Hi, I'm Dr. Shivangi Goyal and I'm the founder and chief mentor at Intelligent Education. We are a mentorship first student led study abroad consultancy firm, and we've been helping students achieve their dreams of studying at Ivy Leagues, Oxbridge, and other tier 1 institutes globally for their undergrad and postgrad since the past 8 years. And apart from that, I'm also an author. I published a book, Her Happy Empire, which is about women entrepreneurs being happy the way they are. It is about 250 ways about how we women balance so many roles as an individual, being an entrepreneur, being a mother, being a wife, being a daughter, everything at once. So that's the book that I wrote. I am also a PhD in women entrepreneurship. I've been working in the area of females and business since my master's. That was my master's thesis, and post that I completed my PhD. The topic of which was to understand the impact of genders in the success of entrepreneurial firms and how to remove the gender bias so that all genders stand equal as entrepreneurs. So that is something about what I've done and what I do. When it comes down to the values that guide me as a professional, I think it is conscience. We all know that how big this industry of education is today, and there has been a huge increase in the number of people who've been a part of this industry, especially after COVID. And one of the worst things about the this particular industry of education is that you forget that it'll always be society first. It'll always be social entrepreneurship first before it's a business. And I think that value system of conscience really lacks. You need to come back to the feeling that parents come to you with a lot of dreams in their eyes about their child. A child comes to you entrusting their future on you. You're responsible not only for that child's future, but the entirety of what that family does 10 years from now. So I think that conscience and that gratitude towards what I get to do and what people are entrusting me with, to maintaining that balance between being a mentor and a guardian versus being a businesswoman, is something that really I value, is something that I really come back to, and something that I always remember as the first flag I hold when I enter my workplace. I think the one leadership philosophy that I try to follow is trusting your team. And when you hire a team, you know that they're better than you and letting them do their job. I was very young when I started working. I was just 22 and I'd started my own firm. My team was older than me, my clients were older than me. And trusting them at that point was very tough because being taken for granted is really easy when you're low in the age game. It came to me in time. It was tough letting go of something you're so passionate about, your own baby, your own firm, your own work. But when you start trusting people, the game changes. And I think I realized this a lot during my maternity break. I had a cesarean delivery, a difficult pregnancy, and I was asked to stay home. Unfortunately, I didn't have my child's grandparents. Both sides of the parents live in different cities, and I was all by myself with my husband. At that time, I had to take a complete break of 1.5 year because I had to take care of myself, my child, my home, everything. And at that time, my core team was so supportive. They used to come to my home on a few days to work from my home, even though it's a lot of distance for them, just so that I could still feel connected and in control. They did not let a meeting come to me till it really needed my attention. They never they never said that, you're not at work, but we are carrying forward your dream. They did not ask me for a raise in that 1.5 year period because they knew that work was slow and I had to take time to bounce back. All of these things might sound small, but to a new mother who is still navigating her way about handling life while working is a big, big support. And not only this emotional support and the structural support that they gave me, when work was handed over to them, when the entire critical thinking, analysis, and decision making was left to them, and I was only giving approvals, where they were allowed to take charge of the departments that they are hired for, they grew. They grew, they improved, they showcased results without me having to pester them and ask them and take reporting of each hour of work. And I think that kind of trust that you show in your team, that comes with time, that comes with experience. But I think that's the biggest virtue for a leader today. Your team does overperform when they feel responsible and when they're entrusted with it. Today, appreciation, rights, and responsibilities are all one part of the game. Trust is the biggest way that you can put on that weighing scale. And I think this trust is my biggest leadership philosophy. I think one transformational initiative that I took at work was to introduce passion projects. So I come from a background of a family business and education, and we do passion projects in our university for our students just so that they can build on their hobbies, right? And one fine day I thought, I love reading. I try on weekends to pick up a book, read, create my thoughts. I love dancing and I go to dance classes, and that keeps me alive. But what keeps my team alive? What are their hobbies and what are their passions that they want to explore? Be it contributing to the firm that they're associated with, or be it just for themselves. And that's when I introduced the concept of passion projects in my office. Try to understand that I'm a very small firm. We're a boutique consultancy firm where it's a small startup. It's a bootstrap startup. So every hour that we pay for an employee really matters. And what I have understood after all of these years of education and working is that 4 productive hours are better than 7 moderately productive hours. So, what we started in our firm was that on Saturdays, every Saturday, each employee has to work for 4 hours on their own passion project, something that they're interested in. And that changed the game for us. Employees suddenly started feeling heard. Employees suddenly started feeling that, I care about what they are interested in. I care about what makes them happy. So much so that when my employees are today on a leave for a vacation, they send me pictures about how they're enjoying. They're very open to me, and I can see them grow. I can see them happier. When you're in the office and your staff arrives in the morning and they're like, good morning, ma'am, how are you? It feels good. When you're on a vacation and there's a crisis at work and your team messages you, ma'am, don't worry, you enjoy, we will take care of it. It feels good. And I think that's a very reciprocative behavior. And this launching this passion project at work, I think, was one of the biggest contributors to it, because your work suddenly becomes like a place that you enjoy. So on Saturdays, when everybody wants a leave, and a lot of times people even, give excuses of taking a leave, my team really wants to come to work because they get to sit and work on something that they're interested in. One of my employees has now started back her mandala art that she used to do in college, and she sells it off. One of my employees has started again designing apps for other people and also for us, as a part of what he's passionate about. And he's a content writer, he's not even a tech person at work. So he really likes to explore his technical side and develop apps. So this is just an example of what, they end up doing if you give them that space of creativity, if you give them that space of just freedom. Because I know that the following hours of work in the following week, they will just be more passionate about it. And one more thing I think that we introduced at work, which worked out very well for us, is shift the work from home from Saturdays to Thursdays. So every week we have one day work from home, and initially that was Saturdays, but recently we shifted it to Thursdays, and I think that was a real game changer. Midweek, when you have those midweek blues, it really drops down your productivity. Now Wednesdays have started feeling like Fridays, and everybody's really pumped up to work and wrap up work and work an hour extra on Wednesdays. And then Thursday comes when everybody is working from the comfort of their home. We of course have exact processes and systems to check work for them to be accountable to themselves and to us. But now Thursdays are a place where they can also take a step back and take a little break, right? And then Fridays and Saturdays are equally energized. So I think this midweek work from home practice really changed the game for us. And it again, like everything that I think in a leadership environment that we do, should be towards maintaining the energy of your team, maintaining their momentum up, seeing that they really enjoy working and they're happy at the workplace. That when they come to my workplace, they feel like they're home, right? So I think that is one of the leadership virtues or the philosophy that I try to follow, and I really like to follow. I think one of the most important things for any mentor today is to help your team grow. We often get stuck in the entire process of just taking what you've done and what you should do. Are you matching your KRIs and KPIs? Are you matching with what you have to do? And are you showing growth in your results? But we forget that every person joining a firm is looking at their career and they need growth. They want to grow personally and professionally. So, one of the things or few things that we try to do at Intelligent Education is that every month each employee fills a self reflective form. That means, what have I done this month? What have the results been? What I could do better? And what is my goal for the next month? In this way, they're first checking themselves. They're forced to check themselves. This is, of course, the pre work for this monthly introspection is also a weekly form that they fill, which helps them assess their performance in a week with respect to what they've done and what they've achieved. So, for example, if it's a social media team, they draw the insights of the social media part that they are responsible of every week to just see the results of what they've done. So, rather than me telling them, they assess that and they make a report so that they can see what are the results of what they've done and what they could do better. So these four weekly reports then culminate into a monthly report of which is devoid of numbers but more of qualitative aspect of things. What you've done, what are the insights, what you've learned, what you could do better, and what are your goals for the following month. Each employee then discusses this with me every month, right? When as a manager you already see somebody having assessed their weekly performance and then their monthly performance, there is lesser corrective measure for you to put in place. So you don't come as a bad cop who's telling them that okay, this was not achieved, this was not done on the day end. They are reviewing it themselves every week, so they already know what you have to say. And at that point, in that position, you can actually guide them that, okay, maybe this is the way you tweak your attitude. Maybe this is the way you tweak your day. This is the way you tweak your timetable. Maybe coming to office 15 minutes early and setting your space down would relax you better. So it becomes a more qualitative feedback that helps them reiterate what they've already assessed for themselves. So in this way, you're not a bad cop and you're still mentoring them to become a better professional, to become a person of more peace at work rather than just trying to catch with numbers. And I think this little practice has really helped us a lot here. The second thing that we try to do every 2 months, so like once in 2 months, we have a big roundtable conference. Everybody sits there, the entire core team and members and me. And what we do is like a cross recognition of everything and everybody that's been happening. So each and every member tells other people one thing that they've been doing good in the past 2 months and one thing that they could change, be it personal, be it interpersonal, be it professional, be it by way of what they do in their department, anything. And I think what that's helped the team doing in is that it's increased the interpersonal relationships within departments itself. So the B2B team is more connected with the B2C team. The marketing team is more connected with the accounts team. So everybody is connected to each other. They know each other well, right? And I think that really helps build an environment within the firm where it's a growth conducive environment. It's an environment where everybody thinks about other people, and they also get a chance to talk out loud. They get a chance to voice out their opinion, and nobody has to hold back. Along with that, on that very day, we have a team building exercise. Sometimes it's a board game. Sometimes it's a board game designed by, say, a leadership giant in across the world. Sometimes it's just a podcast that we watch all together. So it's followed up by one thing that we do together, just as a team. So I think apart from professional and personal growth that I spoke about, this really helps all of us grow together as a team, and we feel more connected with each other, and that's really helped us, I think, to just have a good environment in office, and that's something I enjoy. I think one of the most difficult leadership decisions that I have to make, and till date it is one of the most difficult decisions, is asking somebody to go. And it's not always in a negative space. I still remember when I came back from my maternity break, there was one employee who was excellent, But of course, when you come back after a break, you have to put a lot of finances in place. You have to look at business growth. You have to look at a lot of things that had taken a pause but now need to, grow in terms of the rocket growth that you also expect from yourself. So there was one of the employees, and I knew that employee could now do better. And cannot offer her better, not only in terms of salary, but also in the nature of work. And I knew that staying here would stagnate her career growth. So, asking somebody to let go might not always come in a negative space. That's also tough for me, honestly. But for this particular employee, she was handling our listings on different platforms and our visibility on different platforms, including social media. But I knew she was trained now to do bigger and better things. So I remember the day when I came back to work, 2 months into it, I called her in my office and I was like, "See, you're set to have an increase, financial, like a pay scale increase, and I would give you that increase. But I also have one very honest confession for you, that I don't think that this is the best place for you to work now. I think you are set to do better things. You can go for bigger projects, and I can't give you that exposure right now because I'm just here, like I've just come back. And I don't know how things will look like and what will be the scale of expansion and growth for me, because I don't want to take that pressure on myself also right now. I've just come back. So I really think that, you should belong to a bigger project where you can see more professional growth for your own career scale." She cried, she thanked me, and I asked her to take a month to find an opportunity, and I really helped her in finding opportunities. I will also help you in finding opportunities. Take a month. Let's see what we can explore. And if you find a better opportunity, I would really want you to leave. So we of course found an opportunity as a social media manager for her at one of the biggest FMCG companies in India, and she grew. I would say she didn't leave me, but she grew, and I still have a great connect with her. And I think asking somebody to leave is just one of the biggest difficulties I have. And similarly, if somebody is not performing well today, it is tough for me to ask them to let go. And I think what's guided my approach in these both scenarios is, in the former one, I of course I tell them very honestly that, I don't have the capacity to offer you what you're looking for. And in the second one, I think the weekly and the monthly self recognition of what you've done and what you should do really helps. So it is not like one fine day you're dropping the bomb that, okay, you're not performing. It does come as a self realization to them as well. So I think that has taken it a little easier, that has made it a little easier. And both these things combined is still one of the biggest challenges, but I think a process and a system and just being more vigilant to a human's emotions when you're talking to them has really helped. It eases out the situation, it eases out the environment that is there in the cabin at that time. To all the women entrepreneurs out there, and I say this with a lot of conviction and a lot of experience, after my program with I Am Lucknow, which was primarily for women entrepreneurs, and I had the opportunity and the fortune to meet 65 celebrated women entrepreneurs from across the country. After my PhD in women entrepreneurship, where we've deduced methods of making workplaces more convenient and conducive to women, I very strongly feel that now is the time where we stop attaching the word women to an entrepreneur. We don't need to put a gender to our work anymore. We are at a place where women have equal access to resources. It's sometimes a society who does not believe in us, and oftentimes it's also us who don't believe in ourselves. For the latter part, don't don't think before taking that step. If you have an idea, it deserves a place. If you have a dream, it deserves a desire and it deserves that fire that you have in yourself. Don't be scared to take that first step. Don't be scared to take that leap. You have everything you need. There is nobody who can stop you. You're as good as any other person who's out there and making their dreams work. For every little girl who has the aspiration of becoming a designer, for every little girl who wants to become an architect, for every little girl who wants to set up a factory or become a teacher or become a mentor, there is no male dominated industry today. You can perform in any industry out there. You can dare to dream in any direction that you please. And just don't be scared. There is no reason for any inhibition. There is no reason for being intimidated, and never be scared to ask for help. The world out there is extremely conducive to helping each other. Women love celebrating other women. Entrepreneurs love celebrating other entrepreneurs. It's just about being in the right room. Don't be scared to enter challenging rooms. Don't be scared to voice out your opinion. Don't be scared of rebuttals. Just go out there, experience the world out there, change your environment, step out of your comfort zone, step into rooms that feel challenging, and one day they'll start feeling rewarding. And I think that's something that I have to share with every women entrepreneur out there. Dare to dream and dream big. There is no reason for you to stop. And there are thousands of opportunities lying out there. It's just everything is paused just till the day you decide to go ahead and take that first step.